All right, we are back for the final day until the All-Star break, obviously, here for the NBA. We're going to have a long time off in between today, the end of today's video, and our next NBA video here on the channel, but we'll get to that later on. Today is Thursday, February 13th. We've got 5 games today in the National Basketball Association. The All-Star game is Sunday. The Rising Stars game is Friday, and the dunk contest that unfortunately has no more hype around it is on Saturday. I couldn't even tell you who's in the three-point contest. I know it's unrelated from the dunk contest. The dunk contest is McClung, Andre Jackson, Buzelis, and Stephon Castle. I actually got that one. I don't know who's in the three-point contest because they don't talk about it. Real quick, is Steph Curry in the three-point contest? He better be. It's in Golden State or in San Francisco. If he's not in the three-point contest, something's wrong. He's not in the three-point contest. Wow, they sent Buddy Hield to go do it. Where is Clay? I don't care, Clay is washed. Why is Clay not in this? The three-point contest is Brunson, Cunningham, Garland, Hero, Hield, Cameron Johnson, Damian Lillard, Norman Powell. Wow. I'm just reacting to this for the first time. Sorry, who's in the skills challenge? I need to check the skills challenge real quick. I know it's not the predictions. I'm sorry. The skills challenge is Team Cavs, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Team Rooks, Ricochet Sarr, Team Spurs, Chris Paul, Wembanyama, Team Warriors, Draymond, Moses Moody. I'm not mad at that. Three-point contest. No Steph Curry is ridiculous. Wow. Folks, make sure you go check out our college basketball best bets also on the channel. That was posted a couple of hours ago. That link is in the description down below. I'm actually very disappointed in Curry. That's bad. Our UFC predictions are also on the channel for this weekend. Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez in the UFC Apex, so make sure to check that one out. Again, that's linked in the description down below, along with our first vlog in a couple years here on the channel. Again, I went to Luka Doncic's debut in Los Angeles, and I vlogged that day, so make sure to check that one out. That is linked in the description down below. All right, let's go to the first of our 5 NBA games today. We start things off here at the Smoothie King Center, in New Orleans, Louisiana, for the New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings. I'm actually going with the Pelicans to cover. I know, crazy. They just played yesterday, and the Kings won the game by 8 points. It's the third, we talked about this yesterday, about how ridiculous it was. It is the third time in the last 5 days the Sacramento Kings have played the New Orleans Pelicans. In 2 of those games, both those games, obviously, the Kings won both of them. But the Pelicans lost the first game by 5, the second game by 8. They see them for the third time in 5 days. I think they can play a more competitive game than they just did yesterday. I think so. I would like to hope so. I don't know. Now, the thing is, Zion Williamson played yesterday. He dropped 33-9. Zion, as he said, I'm an employee of the New Orleans Pelicans, and the New Orleans Pelicans don't want me playing back-to-back games. So one would assume no Zion tonight, which sucks, but it is what it is. As I just got an ad on my screen for, I didn't know, tonight's USA versus Finland in the Four Nations for hockey. Excited for that. I don't know if, quick side note, I apologize. The Four Nations is actually a fire idea. I'm not gonna lie. I actually think the US can probably get second in this. That Canada team's loaded, but my goodness. If USA can't beat Finland tomorrow, there's something wrong. What a game for Canada yesterday, too. I thought they were going to find a way to lose that one. Sidney Crosby is that guy. Anyways, the Sacramento Kings versus New Orleans Pelicans today. I think the Kings win, but I think the Pels can cover. We've seen the Pels cover this line before, and I think they should do it again. Again, they lost by 8 yesterday against the Kings. Well, the line's 7.5. And now, again, we don't expect Zion to play. But again, at some point, something's got to give with this Pelicans team. Literally, something's got to give. They haven't won a game since January 20th in their overtime win over the Utah Jazz. Since then, they've lost 10 straight games. Something has to give. Zion can score. Trey Murphy has really developed into a really good player this season. McCollum, McCollum was great earlier in the year. He's kind of cooled off. But Trey Murphy, again, we would expect more of CJ McCollum, obviously, tonight if Zion doesn't play like we expect him to. So I don't mind the Pels here. Obviously, again, they have completely, there's no hope for this team in the Zion era, if we're just being honest. But this specific team right now, I know we're talking about, I just went from, this team being a long-term, what are they going to do in the long-term too? Let's talk about this one night against the Sacramento Kings. I think, again, have some respect for yourself, New Orleans. Cover the 7.5 points. Sacramento has now won 3 games in the Zach LaVine era, 3 in a row, obviously. Pels, Mavs on the road in overtime, Pels on the road again. This team has just played a lot of basketball. They've played 4 games in the last 3 days prior to this, and now it's going to be, they've played 4 games in the last 6 days. That's a lot. They've just been playing quite a bit. Sabonis has been great. arguably should be an all-star. I think probably deserved the nod over Kyrie to replace Anthony Davis, obviously, but they gave it to Kyrie, whatever. Bigger name, I guess, for the game, obviously. But I think the Pelicans can keep this one close. They were very close in the first few games against Sacramento. Arguably, they definitely blew the game in the first one in Sacramento. Was in it yesterday in New Orleans, second half of back-to-back. I think the Pelicans are able to keep this one close. Give me the Pels plus 7.5, but ultimately, yes, we do expect the Sacramento Kings to win the game outright. We go on to our second game of the night, and we go to Houston, Texas for the Golden State Warriors versus the Houston Rockets. Kind of same situation. I think the road team and the Warriors can keep this one close, but I think the Rockets win the game. Now, again, every game today, there are 10 teams playing today. There are 5 games in total. Everyone's coming off a doubleheader here. They've all played yesterday. They're all coming off the second half of a back-to-back. Houston, I guess, has kind of gotten it together, right? They lost 6 straight games, but they've now won back-to-back at home here in Houston against the Raptors, and then last night against the Phoenix Suns. Now they get the Golden State Warriors, who did lose last night at home at Golden State. And here's the thing. The Warriors have to travel. The Rockets don't. Again, the Warriors just lost last night. It was one of the last games being played where they lose to Kyrie and the Mavs. Obviously, Irving drops 42, I think it was, and the Mavericks win. Prior to that, yes, the Warriors had won back-to-back, both with their first games with Jimmy Butler, obviously in Chicago and in Dallas. Oh, the game was, in Milwaukee. I thought the game was in San Francisco. It was in Dallas. So again, Dallas to Houston, not that big of a travel, obviously. Okay, disregard that. My fault. Regardless, still, the Warriors just played last night against the Mavs. They lost, okay? Now they got to go into Houston and play a team that's arguably much better than the Dallas Mavericks. Houston, again, I think they're getting it back on the right track, I think. But the way that they have been playing does lead me to pick the Warriors to cover. But ultimately, money line, yeah, I do think the Rockets get it. Now, the Rockets' leading scorer last night was Tari Eason. Eason averaged 11.5 points a night. He dropped 25 in their victory last night. They've been dealing with injuries, obviously, right? I mean, Jabari Smith has been out for quite a bit now, obviously. Tari Eason's going to be out for this game. No Steven Adams tonight, and obviously Fred VanVleet's been out for a while as well. But still, I mean, you're going to get probably Whitmore or Shepherd starting for VanVleet. I believe it's been Whitmore, if I'm not mistaken, right? I believe it's been Cam Whitmore playing more than Shepherd has. Oh, they've been going Tari Eason. I forgot. They go Amen Thompson at the 1 because Amen Thompson plays every single minute of every game because he'll play the 1 with the starting unit and then he'll play the 3 with the bench unit because they go their 9-man rotation. Yeah, Dylan Brooks plays a lot too, but Amen Thompson literally never comes out the game for them. I just think the Rockets are the better team. I think they're better defensively, obviously, and I get it. Jimmy Butler does add that defensive spark to the Warriors, obviously with Draymond and Jimmy, who is now going by Jimmy Butler III. Has been playing good basketball for the Warriors, much better than when he was in Miami, obviously, right? 3 games in a row, 25, 20, 21 for Jimmy. He's been playing fairly well. I think, though, in the second half of the back-to-back, I think the Rockets are the more equipped team to win. I think they have gotten past that little cold streak, and I think the Rockets going into the All-Star break pick up a huge victory here against the Golden State Warriors. I think a big factor as well as the game is in Houston, the Rockets win, but I do expect this to be very close. Obviously, the Warriors had that large stretch where they just owned the Houston Rockets. The Rockets obviously eventually got over that hump this season where they beat them in the quarters of the in-season tournament. But the Warriors historically over the last 10 years have had a lot of success against the Rockets. That's why I think they keep the game close, but ultimately I do think the Rockets edge this one out. It's very similar to how they did with the in-season tournament game where they won obviously earlier in the year. So give me Houston to win, but I think the Warriors are able to keep this one fairly close. Next up, we go to Dallas, Texas. The Dallas Mavericks take on the Miami Heat. This one I don't understand the odds for. I'm taking Dallas. Taking Dallas plus 1.5. I know they're very hurt, but they found a way to beat the Warriors. We didn't expect that to happen. Miami, guys, they looked horrible at the end of that game against the Thunder. They lose it by 14 points. Again, no shame in outright losing to OKC, especially in Oklahoma. That team, again, is by far the best team in the league right now after watching the Lakers play the Jazz last night. Yeah, I don't want to see the Thunder. I don't want to see the Nuggets either. But, guys, the Thunder are just that good. This team, again, we said it yesterday. Guys, we make big deals out of some of these teams winning by blowouts, like the Lakers. Oh, look at they beat the Jazz the other night by 27 points. Guys, the Thunder do that every single night. It's rare for the Thunder to be in close games at the end. They beat the Heat by 14 points. And this is a game they had to come back from behind and win. Why? And how do they do it? The Thunder shut the Heat down to 8 points in the fourth quarter. To find a way to not just win in a close game, they covered the 13.5 points too. That's why I love the Thunder so much. Guys, they were down big, and they outscored the Heat 32, not big, but they were down. They outscored the Heat 32-8 in the fourth quarter. Crazy. The defense that team plays, and obviously the offensibility out of the most valuable player in the league, obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Heat, though, again, that's bad. That fourth quarter was horrible. They've now lost 3 in a row. They lost to Brooklyn on the road. They lose to Boston at home, OKC on the road. Again, those latter 2 losses aren't bad. It's just the way that they ended up losing to OKC and the way they got blown out against Boston as well. And then you tie that back in with their loss to the Brooklyn Nets, who, believe it or not, folks, are now 1 game out of the play-in. Yep, they found a way to beat the Sixers yesterday. Shout out Paul George with 2 points. I can't believe the Nets might actually make the postseason. Well, they're not going to get in the playoffs, but they might get a nationally televised game at the end of the year in the play-in. Guys, wouldn't this be hilarious? Again, quick side note, my fault. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't know how many times they've been on national television this season, probably like once or twice. They're going to be on an ESPN play-in game if they get in, and these commentators are going to act like they've been watching Brooklyn Nets basketball season long. And they're going to be like, Cam Thomas played 32 games. D'Angelo Russell's on this team. How do they get in the play? How are they here? And we're all going to be like, yeah, I don't know. So anyways, I just want to see ESPN try to cover a Nets game in a winner-go-home spot in Orlando against the Magic or something like that. In this game, though, give me the Mavs. The Heat have looked bad recently post-Jimmy Butler, and obviously it's not Jimmy Butler being gone. It's not the reason they've been bad. It's just they're not all that great right now. The Mavs are very hurt. Don't get me wrong. AD's out, obviously. PJ Washington out. Gadford out. Dwight Powell out. They've got so many injured. Caleb Martin as well. But they found a way to win. We thought, again, it's going to be tricky for them without a big. Now, it was an easier task against the Warriors because you're able to play really small against this team. Just because, again, the Warriors don't really, they have Quentin Post, but Post is not a traditional big, obviously. And they got Guy Santos as well. But what the Mavs did last night, they played a combination of Kessler Edwards and Oliver Maxine Prosper at the 5, and they just played super small, and it worked. And they played Kyler Kelly as well off the bench, but he only played 2 minutes, so really not much out of him. So, yeah, I guess it's going to work. They're going to try to play super small ball here against Miami. We'll see. I think matchup-wise, they can get them. I think they can. Just the way Miami's been playing. I think they're going to have to adjust, obviously, with Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo, but I'm willing to take the Mavs at home. I am. Barely. I'm not confident at all. But give me the Mavericks at home. Just the Heat have had to travel, too. So I'll take Dallas on a second half of back-to-back. We go to our fourth game here. Again, we talked about them a little bit earlier. The Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Have I said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player in the NBA? I don't know if I have. Give me the Thunder, obviously. I mean, guys, I know, again, there is this thing around the Thunder a little bit right now. At least it's being talked about some again. Like, okay, yeah, they were the number 1 seed last season. They ended up losing in the semifinals, obviously, to the Dallas Mavericks, right? They were so great in the regular season, and what's going to happen once they eventually get in the playoffs? I understand that conversation, but at the same time, guys, they were nowhere near what they are last year. They just weren't. This team is so skilled this year. And they're doing it with injuries, too. Chet didn't play last night. They won the game by 14 points and held their opponent to 8 points in the fourth quarter. I expect Chet to play the second half of a back-to-back going into the All-Star break on national television on TNT. Yeah, they're going to beat the Timberwolves. I actually really like this spot here. -6.5. Sign me up. With the injuries that the Timberwolves have, I think Mike Conley might play tonight. Not like Mike Conley. This isn't 2015, 2014. He's not going to make, or 2016. This is not going to make a difference just with Mike Conley on the court. But I think he'll probably play. He didn't play yesterday against the Bucks. We can expect him to probably play this one. Obviously, no DiVincenzo, no Randall, the 2 guys they got in the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, which, by the way, why did they do that? Nobody knows. So, yeah, the Timberwolves are screwed. Sure, again, they need big games out of Ant just to be competitive. And last night, more of the same. Ant with 28 points, lose the game by 2 points at home to the Bucks. The Cleveland loss in Cleveland, Ant puts up 44 points, they lose. Again, it's the thing with Rudy Gobert. Gobert's an elite player. Gobert possibly is going to be in the Hall of Fame someday just because of how great he is defensively. The thing is, again, Gobert is such a non-factor on offense scoring-wise, and that's why, again, the Timberwolves ultimately lost to the Mavs, is because they knew Gobert was a non-factor. They could just not play up on Gobert, and obviously that's why the Timberwolves ended up losing that, 4? Did they get swept in that, or was it 5? I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it was 5, right? Yes, it was in 5. But still, that's the problem with Rudy Gobert. If you hide him around other really great scores, and even again, that's the Mavs picked him apart in the playoffs, but still, if you can hide Gobert with great scores, again, then yes, he'll make up for it on the defensive end. But when now Gobert, who you're paying all this money, is, arguably your third best option. No, he's probably still the fifth best option scoring, but still, like, he's one of your 3 starters that's playing, and you can't really score with him. McDaniels again can score, Naz Reid can score, but again, with Naz Reid starting, their bench is now horrible. OKC's going to dominate this game. I love 6.5 points here. I get they played yesterday, but damn, the Timberwolves played yesterday too. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, again, is the best player in the NBA and the best scorer in the NBA. You know who's not coming off a second half of a back-to-back? Chet Holmgren. I know he hasn't been the best coming off of his injury, which again is expected. He's just, working his way back in. But Chet will be playing this game. You put him and Hartenstein together in the lineup. I don't think Caruso's going to play. He left the game yesterday against the Heat with left hip tightness. Okay, I'd expect Cason Wallace to probably play. I would. He didn't play yesterday against the Heat. I expect him to get this one. This team's just so deep. They're that skilled, man. I like the Lakers a lot. I do think the Lakers and the Nuggets are the 2 teams that could possibly give the Thunder a fight. But yeah, OKC's right now is just the best team in the league, and it's not even close. Yeah, Cleveland's not bad, and Boston is too, but arguably I'm taking right now the Thunder against any other team in the league right now in a 7-game series. And why? It's Shai, it's the depth, it's the defense, and it's the bigs. I mean, everything. The Thunder check off every single box, man. Give me the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road to go into Minnesota, going into the All-Star break, covering the 6.5 points, and obviously winning the game outright as well. We go on to our final game before the All-Star break, and it's in Salt Lake City, Utah, as we have the Utah Jazz taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Give me the Clippers to win, Jazz to cover. I don't know. I'd stay away. Just because Utah, again, coming off that win over the Lakers last night, of course, we can't have nice things in Los Angeles. No, they're on a big winning streak. It is what it is. They drop one to Utah. Hey, I don't care. Bronny scored 9 points and hit 2 threes. That's a win for me. We know the Lakers are going to be in the playoffs. Whatever. They'll be a top 4 seed. They're in 5th now because the Rockets are winning. It's fine. It's okay. Honestly, a 5-4 matchup with the Rockets and Lakers is fine with me, but then the thing is, then you got to see OKC in the second round. But at that point, you got to see either OKC or Denver in the second round. I'd rather see Denver, though. Yeah, I'd rather see Denver. Jackson Hayes, please. Oh, God, Jackson. Alex Len is just, oh, God. The Lakers' big situation is horrible. Next year, though, I still think the Lakers are going to have a chance this year. I really think the Lakers can win it all next year, though. If they just get it big in the offseason, oh, my goodness, this team's going to be good. Hey, in 3 years, though, I love LeBron, but when LeBron steps down, thank you, LeBron. When Giannis Antetokounmpo and Luka Doncic are playing for this team with Austin Reeves in the lineup as well, and Bronny in the lineup as well, oh, my God. Oh, man. That team's going to be nasty. Nasty. I wish Mark Williams wasn't injured, because if Mark Williams didn't have injury problems, we'd be so up right now. We're not. Low-key, just take Dalton Connect. I don't care how injured Mark Williams is. We need a center. Anyways, Clippers Jazz. That's the Jazz's Super Bowl. You know it is. They got embarrassed on national television. It's the only national television game they get. It's obviously Luka's debut in LA. They get embarrassed in that spot. They come back. They beat the Lakers in Utah. Super Bowl. That's what it is. Clippers, second half of back-to-back, beat the Grizzlies. Kawhi looked really good. It was probably the best game Kawhi's played, honestly, all season long so far. Scores 25 points. The thing is, he's out this game because obviously Kawhi doesn't play back-to-backs. Team's still good without Kawhi, but the Clippers, we've noticed, are probably much worse on the road than they are at home. They just are. They're a better team at the Intuit Dome. They're going on the road here against Utah. They don't have another home game until March 5th, which is kind of crazy. Obviously, the All-Star break's involved as well, but I mean, they've got a bunch of road games to end February and to start March with. 2 of them are the Lakers, but still, you have to go on the road, right? It's not the same. You're not still at Staples, even though actually the Clippers were always on the road when they play the Lakers, regardless of where the arena is. Now, I guess it's kind of a home court advantage for the Clippers, but still, it's still majority Lakers fans when they play them. Anyways, the Clippers, yeah, they won back-to-back games. They look good the Grizzlies game. I'll give them that. I didn't expect them to beat the Grizz. As a whole, though, and overall, the Clippers have still cooled down in comparison to the beginning of the season. They've still cooled down. I think Utah can cover. I think the Clippers win, obviously. But the Jazz, I think they played some inspired ball yesterday. Walker Kessler, again, is such a defensive menace. He's great. I wish he was a Laker so bad. And Lauri Markkanen, of course, against the Lakers, played his best game of the season. I think it was. It was Markkanen's best game, 32 points. That looked like all-star Lauri Markkanen. And sure, they did. They made him play a lot. He was playing at the end of the game after the Lakers already took out all their guys. And, with 3 minutes to go, here comes Lauri Markkanen, on the receiving end or finishing a lob. Like, what are we doing? Anyways, I think the Jazz can cover. They played inspired ball yesterday. They get the Clippers second half of back-to-back. Clippers got to go to elevation to play this one. Yeah, I'll take Utah to keep the game close. Plus 7.5 Utah, but ultimately we do expect the Clippers to find a way to win this basketball game at the Delta Center here against the Utah Jazz. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here for Thursday, February 13th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Again, we are off with the NBA until next Wednesday, where there's only one game between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Charlotte Hornets. One of the games that got rescheduled due to the fires. We'll still come on and do a video, obviously, because I'll have a lot to say, obviously, about the Lakers. And then Thursday, we return to a normal slate with a bunch of games as well. So, again, we'll see you guys again on Wednesday for our next NBA video. If you don't watch the college basketball best bets, I highly encourage you to do that, because we'll be on every single day, obviously, with that here on the channel up until Wednesday. Or again, we'll continue that still at college basketball. But college basketball remains on the channel. It'll be the only video posted pretty much every single day until the NBA's return on Wednesday. So, make sure to join us for that, folks. Thank y'all for watching, and Mamba